So I am a 100% Knight main. Like I've been maining Knight since the chapter released, and a big reason is because I think aesthetically the Knight is really cool. I like his lore. I just like everything about him, um, and I personally just find him really fun to play. I like the idea of having a team that um, has as much hatred for the survivors as the main killer does, and also just micromanagement and teamwork, and putting legitimate pressure on the survivors and forcing them into uncomfortable situations in chase. Mainly the sandwich effect, where it's a lose lose, but that doesn't always happen, but that does happen sometimes. It just depends on the scenario. But Knight is getting a rework soon, and it's actually way worse than what most people would initially think, because everyone's like, "Oh, that's great, and that's going to rework. You can't, have no counterplay strategy anymore." That's completely insane. Knight had a lot of counterplay. The most simple ones were you have to predict when he's most likely to drop a guard and try to leave the loop. That does help out a lot, but you also have to try to use line of sight, take skew pathing, so it makes it hard for him to accurately predict where you're going to run to, and also like with Carnifex at pallets, almost play him like you would a Huntress or any ranged killer that can pull up at a pallet like Nemesis, and you either greet it and you win, or you don't and he insta breaks with the Carnifex. But so getting into his supposed new rework. So first thing is you can now manually switch between the guards. I mean, that's great. Like, if Knight could manually switch between his guards as he is right now, he would be a lot stronger than what he is. But there is a major catch with that. You have to draw a patrol path for 10 meters before you can even place your guard. That is actually insane, because it hurts his ability to have reliable anti-loop when you come to a loop. You have to draw a 10-meter patrol path, which gives the survivor more than enough time to hold forward at a loop, which is something that they would have done anyway. As soon as the survivor sees you drop or do your animation at a loop, they're gonna run. They're gonna run away, right? Well, with this new update, they're still gonna do the same thing. If you're gonna draw a patrol path, wouldn't the survivor still run away? Even if it has to be 10 meters, it just gives them even more time to run away. But if you still get a hunt on them, it's still the same thing. But you can switch between which guards you want to have now, which is again great. But it's such a bad quality of life change for the Knight to not be able to insta drop guards. There are many situations where you actually need a guard to be insta dropped, whether it's at a loop, or you're trying to work around body blocks, or they're at an elevated height, like say on Dead Dog or a hill, and you just want to insta place the guard so you can start a hunt at a survivor that's looking up to you, that is inaccessible. You can't do that anymore, which is bad. You have to sort of predict which loop they're going to run to, and basically try to get a hunt there. But if the survivor is good, then they're going to take a weird path, and you have to try to use your hearing to accurately place the guard, which is often easier said than done, because like I said, good survivors, they know how the Knight works and how to play against him. So the next thing is the patrol paths. The longer they are, it will increase the time of the hunt. But also they're adding a thing where if you're within 8 meters of a guard that is actively hunting, the timer depletes 3 times faster. That is actually insane. So what it seems like they're trying to do is incentivize the guards getting hits on their own without your assistance. Okay? If you actually go against a good team that understands how his power works, there is a major problem with the guards hunting for longer. It is called the banner. They can just loop around a rock for 5 seconds, and the banner will spawn, and guess what? They get it, and it doesn't matter. The guard could hunt for 30 seconds. It's really easy to get the flag if the knight is also not actively chasing you, unless you're just in a really bad spot and it's impossible to get back to the banner. But more often than not, you can get to the banner, no problem. Another thing, you drop a pallet on the guard. It has a literal stroke and goes around it and has no idea what to do. It's so bad. Sometimes when you vault a window at the perfect angle, the guard also has a stroke and goes around it. So it doesn't matter how long the guard will hunt for, the coding of the guards are so bad that if it makes one mistake or one error in chase, it will never catch the survivor, even if it's the assassin. So it's gonna make the guards much weaker in chase because it depletes 3 times quicker than normal, while also making no measurable difference when you're not helping the guard out. Because good survivors know the counterplay tonight: pre-drop pallets, vault windows, or get the banner. So that is just an insane nerf to Knight. And they're also changing the jailer's chase time to 24 seconds like the Carnifex, and Carnifex is now going back to 12. Okay, you know, that's cool, right? You know, people thought that the jailer is overall the worst guard, which he is. Truthfully, he is overall the worst guard, but he did have some legitimate utility. The big thing for jailer was he had a massive detection range with Map of the Realm, which made getting hunts going much easier. That was useful when sometimes the loops are so awkward, or there's just some situations where it's such an awkward area that you need jailer's big detection range in a hunt or during a chase to actually catch the survivor. And that was one of his uses. Another one was he was really good at patrolling. That's great. He was able to actually walk faster than the survivor when he's on patrol, and he also patrolled for a long time, which was really great at defending objectives. That was his purpose. It was to guard, be a scout, to be almost like, he's basically just a scout for the night, but he isn't that useful in chase. So now he's gonna chase for 24 seconds. That's great. There's still a problem with that. He's slow. Carnifex as is doesn't get hits on his own usually without your assistance. So he's slow. And if you get close to him in a chase, the power goes down 3 times as fast. So it's still terrible that the jailer's gonna hunt for 24 seconds. People just sit and see jailer's utility, but he did have uses, and he could still kick gens. So that's cool. And they also did some add-on. They added some things to the base kit. They added half of Map of the Realm to the base, right? So Map of the Realm, as is, will increase the detection range for 4 meters. This is an add-on that is absolutely needed. Night is almost unplayable if you are not running this add-on. It's just what it is. So they're cutting it. They're giving half of this add-on to his new base kit, which is now 2 meters extra. I mean, that's cool, but my concern is, are they going to keep Map of the Realm as is, or just make Map of the Realm 2 meters instead of 4, and you're gonna need to run it anyway, because even that 2 meters makes a big difference. So Map of the Realm will still be base kit, or will almost need to be your base kit add-on, if that's how it's gonna be. But also, if they were to remove Map of the Realm completely and rework it, it nerfs Knight again, because his detection range is even shorter than what it was with Map of the Realms. So that's kind of concerning. and they're gonna have to rework some of his add-ons. You know, like probably all of the add-ons that give you an extra guard during your cycle, and probably some of the green ones, which are just terrible. He might be even more add-on dependent than what he already is, which kind of sucks. And also they're adding Pillaged Mead as base kit, because it's quote-unquote the most one of his most popular add-ons that the Knights run. So they're like, oh, let's just make it base kit. Yeah, well, here's the thing. Those are popular add-ons, or this add-on is popular for the casual Knight player base that doesn't know much about them. They're just playing them, and they're like, oh, a guard doing an animation quicker, that must be good. Not really. Wanna know why? Because a guard doing a break animation faster means that if you're gonna do something like kick a gen with your guard, either the jailer or the assassin, you're actually helping the survivors by completing that animation, because that is less time that they have to wait to get back on the gen and start working on it again. But when it comes to breaking pallets faster in chase, it makes no difference to break the pallet faster, because you're just gonna run away from the pallet anyway. So overall, Pillaged Mead is not good to be base kit. It actually hurts the Knight overall. There is no benefit to running this add-on at all. Zero. So that becoming base kit is also a nerf. So basically what they're trying to do is incentivize the guards being rewarded by long patrol paths, and also the guards getting hits on their own, right? So that's cool and all, but the guards will not get hits on their own against any survivor that knows what they're doing, because again, they have the banner that they can use, and also they pre-drop a pallet, the guard goes around it, or sometimes you just vault a window and for whatever reason the guard just has a stroke and goes around it and will never ever catch the survivor. So all you're doing is just wasting the same amount of time that you would have wasted anyways. So the guards are just about as bad as they already were at getting hits on their own, but now they're also weaker in chase, because the hunt time will decrease 3 times fast when you're close to the guard in a chase, so you can't do the sandwich strategy as much as you could. And on top of that, you also need to draw a patrol path for at least 10 meters before you can even summon a guard. Oh, but that's okay, because you can choose at any given time which guard you want to use. What difference does it make that you can pick which guard you want to use? You can spam assassins in chase if you want, that's great, but you can't actually help the assassin in a chase because of the depletion. That kind of sucks. Yeah, you can spam carnifexes at pallets, but survivors aren't gonna like that. It's like giving them battle axe head, but like, you know, they're gonna give him battle axe head indefinitely. Like, it's just not going to be twice in a row. It's gonna be as many times as you want, so you can spam it. That's not good. Survivors aren't gonna like that. So that's just really, really strange to me how they want to go about that. It's just not the way you rework Knight. Knight overall wasn't even that strong of a killer. He has a lot of clunkiness, he has some bugs that haven't been fixed, and he also just, he's not that great. I mean, he's good if you're really good with him, but you go against any decent team, he has a little bit more counterplay than what you might initially think. There is more to Knight than just dropping a guard at a pallet and holding fort. There's a lot more, actually. You just have to understand how his power works, how each of his guards work, and know how the Knight actually thinks in chase. Now, I guess that's easy for me to say because I main this guy, so I know everything about him in and out. All of his weaknesses, all of his strengths, what he's capable of, and how survivors play against him. But I just, this update, I really hope it doesn't stay as it is, because you're basically gutting this guy. You're making him just feel even worse quality of life wise than he already is. you're not making his guards any stronger whatsoever. The only thing you can do is spam Carnifexes at pallets, but any good survivor will pick up on that, and that's not fun to play against, knowing that at any given pallet you can insta-break the pallet. That's really boring if you ask me. It's like, oh, I can just keep my Carnifex up and then just play around the pallets like that, and then insta-break the pallets and get free hits anyway. Like, how does that make any sense? You think survivors are gonna like that you can spam Carnifexes and get insta-breaks at any given time? No. It's just really strange that you can do that. Or in Chase, you think the survivors is gonna like getting spammed with assassins in Chase? Probably not. Or jailers with his big detection range and now longer chase time? Probably not. He's not going to be any more fun to play against than he already is. And as playing as him, most likely overall he's going to feel much worse to play. And he's also going to be overall weaker because the quote-unquote no counterplay is false. It's just not true. There is counterplay to this killer. It's just people don't want to use their brains in Chase and actually figure him out. So it's just really rough to see that that's the way they're going about it, because it's just not the right way. So yeah, I really fear for us night mains, because that's looking pretty bad. You might have to play even more boring than what people already think you are by forcing pallet drops and just insta-breaking them and getting a hit anyway. You know, and somewhat harassing survivors in Chase or at gens or something from long patrol paths, and they still get away from the guard from the flag or just dropping a pallet on them. It's just really weird. Like, I get that insta-dropping a guard at a loop is not fun, but is it really going to make a difference with the 10-meter requirement? You're still going to run away from the loop anyway if you see the knight doing that. You know, and if the knight is good, they're still going to get a hunt started on you, but the problem with that is it's less reliable for the knight because he can't even assist his guard that well. You know? I think the biggest thing that hurts Knight right now with this update is the fact that his 8-meter, 3 times faster depletion will severely hurt him. And I think that's the biggest thing. And just the add-ons are kind of scary. But we'll see. I do think that overall it is a way worse quality of life change for the Knight and an overall rework than what he already is. In fact, I'm one of the few people that thinks that Knight just needs a buff. And by buffs, I mean quality of life changes. I think the Assassin needs to chase for a little bit longer at base. You know, but the Carnifex and Jailer were fine. They had their purpose. The Assassin was the guard that was supposed to get hits. So, but without dried horse meat, most of the time the Assassin would just barely run out of his hunt time before he got a hit. That's why I thought just at base the Assassin needed a longer chase time. But the Jailer and Carnifex were fine. But yeah, it's just kind of rough. So we'll see. But I am not looking forward to seeing what they're doing, but I hope people actually play him in the PTB and more people talk about it. And people that actually understand how this killer works will actually figure out that this is not the way you want to go about reworking this guy. But yeah, so that's about how I feel about it. So I guess we'll just see until then.